Hello and welcome. We're going to be going through some SAT No Calculator math today. This is from the College Board Test 9 from their practice tests on the website. You can find the link below, so feel free to download your own copy and work along with me, or work ahead and come back for some answer explanations, whatever you might need. I'm planning on doing this in the allowed time. If I go over a little bit, that'll just be because I'm explaining as I go along. If you like what you see here, you know what to do. Hit that like button and subscribe. I'm hoping to do a lot more of these, and if there's enough interest, I will dedicate the time to do so. But without much further ado, let's go ahead and get started. And I'll be kind of narrating as I go along. You see the timer ticking away there, so we're already starting. Number one is a system of linear equations. We got something we're looking for the solution of the sum of the two things. Usually when you want something like that, it's easiest to just add straight down or something like that, get that equation. But let's go ahead and just solve this like a standard system of equations. We'll solve for y or x, either one. Let's go ahead and solve for x. So we got 2x minus y. 2x minus y equals 8. I'm going to multiply the second equation by 2, so we get 2x plus 4y equals 8. Subtract straight down, the x's go away, and you get negative 5y equals 0. So y equals 0. If we plug y back in, we get x equals 4, and so y plus 4 is b. I realize I did not start my screen annotator, but that's okay. I'll just make a little running b. 2. Which of the following is equivalent to this crazy looking thing? It's best to do these just as little math as you possibly can. 2x squared plus 3x squared is 5x squared, so that narrows it down to a, b, or d. Yeah, might as well do the rest. Negative 2x plus negative 3x is negative 5x, so that is a. Number 3. Which of the following statements is true about this? So just check your options. Negative slope. Okay, rearrange it into standard form. You get y equals 3x minus 4 over 2. You just push everything away from y. We see that it has a positive slope and a negative y-intercept, so that is going to be D. Number 4 we'll put up here. Front of the roller coaster, da, 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 da. I see right away that the answer choices are all linear functions. They have alternating slopes and different y-intercepts. We have a 15 feet above the ground. That's a y-intercept, so boom, we're done. It's A. 5. You can safely assume that that's the y-intercept because that's your starting point. I might as well just read it. Don't go too fast. Yeah, slope is 8 feet. Yeah, that's good. Next equation gives us a linear function again. They want us to know the electrician worked 2 hours longer. That means that whatever number we start with, it's just this times 2 because that's the slope. So it's $150 more. Yep, that's what they're asking for. So that is C. 6 is an arc length problem probably. Yep. So they give us ADC is 5 pi. That is the length of that arc. The equation for arc length is the circumference, 2 pi r, times the fraction of the circle that we care about, theta over 360. So can we just use straight proportions to do this? I think we can. Another approach that occurs to me, if that fragment of the circle is 100 degrees out of 360, we could, instead of doing it to the whole circle, do it to the rest of it. The rest of the circle is 260. And if this arc length is 5 pi, the other arc length is the rest of the circle. So we cross multiply, get everything away from x. We get x equals 5 pi times 260. That's a pi over 100. The 100s reduce a little bit there. 26 and 10 have a common factor of 2. 5 cancels out, and you get 13 pi, which is B. That's number 6. Number 7. Number 7 is asking for the value of x. 8 over x equals something bigger than 8. The only way that that's possible is if that's a decimal. If you divide by a decimal, you end up with a larger result. So going right along. Number 8. Okay, I've seen questions like this before, and I've coached kids on these types of things, and they get all kinds of muddled up. If no value of x satisfies the equation, that's the critical part. It doesn't really matter that a is a constant. Don't let that trip you up. It doesn't mean anything useful. No value of a satisfies the equation. That's the useful part. That means that these two lines, and it does look like these are lines, they're parallel. So the slope of this line here is equal to the slope of that line there. This has a slope of 8. If you combine like terms, you get 8x. So that means that a must be 4 because they have the same slope. So that is C. Number 9, how many solutions? Solutions can be the x-intercepts, but this is a system of equations. So don't get that confused. On a system of equations, we're looking for the number of times they intersect, which here is 1. Number 10, same kind of thing going on. I see you can't see the whole question there. There you go. Number 10, ax plus 3, all that big old mess. A, B are constants. What is the value of a times b? Okay, so this is similar to number 8 over there. Doesn't matter that a and b are constants. That doesn't give us anything. It's true for all values of x. That means the coefficients are equal. So let's go ahead and distribute that through, and we get 5a x cubed minus ab. There's our ab. abx squared plus 4ax. Need more room. Plus 15x squared minus 3bx plus 12. Woof. And this is all equal to the rest of that stuff. So the critical thing here is that these are they're true for all values of x. So you could absolutely just throw in 1 for x and then solve for a and b. But we really only care about this coefficient right here that's attached to a squared term. So I'm going to gather up my squared terms and get negative abx squared plus 15x squared and set that equal to the other x squared terms, negative 9x squared on the other side. Because these things are true for all values of x, we can simply assume everything else is equal, subtract it off, and isolate the things that we care about, which is this ab right here. So I'm going to isolate ab. Everything can be reduced by x squared, so just factor that off, or put in 1 if that makes more sense to you. You get negative ab plus 15 equals negative 9. Negative ab equals negative 24. AB is 24, and that is C. Cool. That was number 10. Number 11. They want the values of x. Okay, so if I ever see answer choices like this, there's really only 3-4 numbers to try. So you could just throw them in. Let me scroll down a little. There you go. You can see it now. So you can, what I would do is I'd cross multiply 2x equals 2x squared minus 6x Combine like terms, 0 equals 2x squared minus 8x, factor it, 2x factors off, and you get x equals 0 or 4, and that is indeed B. Those are good plug and check questions if you need to do plug and check. 12. Noticing that we have common denominators in each of the answer choices. Let's go ahead and get a common denominator. So we have 1 over, use another color, 1 over 2x plus 1 plus 5 over 1 times 2x plus 1 times 2x plus 1. Distribute that through, you get 1 plus 10x plus 5 over 2x plus 1. So you can see right away that that becomes 10x plus 6, which is D. Don't do the extra step unless you absolutely have to. Number 13, let's keep on chugging along here. Number 13, we've got all of our answer choices are in vertex form. You should strive to memorize the equations of parabolas, all the standard forms, vertex forms, factored forms, so you can notice what you're looking at a glance. So we just want the equation that describes this parabola. The vertex, of course, is at 3, 1, so that's going to be minus 3 plus 1. That narrows it down to either A or C. The only difference being that coefficient. So a neat trick on this is if I go to 3, 1 there, and I go over 1 unit to 4, it'll go up the same value of that coefficient, whatever it happens to be. So we go up to 4, 5, so I know that this coefficient is equal to 4. So that's going to be A. Another method to do that is to plug 4, 5 in and see which one of those two remaining options works. But if you go to the left or to the right 1 unit from the vertex, you go a vertical displacement of that leading coefficient. I know that might be confusing to some people, but please do study it. It will save you time in the end. All right, linear system using inequalities, just do it by elimination. The first equation there, x plus 2 has a positive slope, and y is greater than, so that means we're going to be shading above the positive slope. That narrows, it eliminates A, that eliminates D. We need to be above the positive slope. And then for the negative slope, that must be the other equation. I'm not going to bother rearranging it. We're going to have y as less than. So we're going to be in this region, and that's B. Yeah, only rearrange the things as much as you absolutely have to. Don't rearrange to completion if you don't have to. This is a great candidate for just plugging it in. You can never end up with the square root equaling a negative number, so I know x has to be negative, and that narrows it down to B. Know the domains and ranges of functions. That cuts out a lot of work. All right, 16. What is the volume in cubic centimeters? Okay, volume is just area of a base times the height. So 4 times 9 times 10, that's 360. 17. What's the value of 2x plus 1? Oh, I love questions like these. 4x plus 2 is exactly twice as big as 2x plus 1. So if I divide that by 2, right, because 2x plus 1 is half as much, so the answer is 2. 18. This is function f of x. G of x is not shown. G of x is equal to the function shown plus 6. What is the maximum? So the maximum that exists is 2, so plus 6 is 8. Triangle PQR. I'm going to make sure that my answers are distinct from the question number here. let's see. What are we doing? Oh yeah, number 19. PQR. Always draw a triangle if they describe it. So they say it's a right triangle, so we can go ahead and put a right angle on that. Don't assume anything. Only go by what they say. So they say angle Q is the right angle. And P and R don't matter. Angle R is, sine of R is 4/5. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse. That's a 3, 4, 5 triangle. Train yourself to recognize 3, 4, 5s. They want the tangent of P, so that's 3/4. And then finally, number 20. We've got a linear function graphed. The graph of the function g, not shown again, is perpendicular. That means it has opposite reciprocal slope. Passes through a given point. They want the value of g of 0. G of 0 is the y-intercept. Whenever x is 0, you're at the y-intercept. So all we got to do is find the function of g, and we're done. So the slope is the opposite reciprocal of the one shown. Goes down 2/1, so that f of x has a slope of negative 2x plus 3 is the equation of that. G of x is opposite reciprocal, so that's 1/2 x plus b. We need to find b. So we plug in the coordinate point 1, 3 that they gave us. 1/2 1 plus b equals 3. As soon as we find b, we're done. So 1/2 plus b equals 3. Subtract the 2 over, or the 1/2 rather, and you get 2.5. You could also do it as a fraction, but that should be sufficient. And that is time at 16 minutes 11 seconds, along with all my rambling. You do get 25 minutes for the section, so of course you would be able to go back and check your work, making sure that you understand and haven't made any guesses on anything. I felt pretty confident going through each of these things. There were some that I went pretty fast through, though. Like, I'm going to check just to make sure my calculation was right on number 2. I believe we had A. Yep, I put A for number 2. 5x squared minus 2 minus 3. Yeah, that is A. Other thing I went real fast through. No, I feel pretty good. Let's go ahead and check our answers. Do I have... Okay, I gotta look up an answer key. Bear with me. So I am a full-time tutor. If you're interested in getting teaching tips, please like and subscribe. If there's enough interest, I will do more of these. All right. Is that an answer key? There it is. So no calculator, number 1. You said B. Number 2 said A. Number 3 said D. Good. So 1, 2, 3. 4 said A. 5 C. 6 B. 7 D. 8 C. 9 B. 10 C. 11. I said B. Good. 12. I'm going to make sure you can see the answer key. There it is. 12. I said D. Yep. 13 said A. Good. 14 said B. 15 B. 360. 2 8 3/4. 2 8 3/4 and 2.5. Excellent. So no mistakes going through that. everything was done relatively fast. We finished with 9 minutes to spare. And of course, you should utilize that time to check your work. Don't just kick back, because you may have missed a detail, you may have misread a question, especially if you had to guess on something. You want to make sure that you're not falling for any traps, because they absolutely could ask a question that you might think you recognize, but then they're going to throw a twist in it. So don't let them get you muddled up on anything. Again, thank you for watching, and I hope to make some more of these.